All right, we need a way to hang our clock from the wall, so we're going to add a hook, so that a wall hook. Now we've got a retaining ring already that will hold the clock mechanism to the back of the clock, which is helpful. We now need a way to hang our clock from the wall. So we're going to modify that retaining ring in order to be able to hang it from the wall. To do that, I'll go back to the retaining ring sketch. I'll double click it and open up the sketch. And then from there, we should be able to edit this such that it'll be able to be hung from the wall. So I'll turn off the mechanism in the clock face just so we can see the sketch entities in the sketch. Now, I now need to add some lines so that they can be converted into a hook of some sort. So I'll just grab my line tool and I will now try and snap into geometry that I already know. So from the top edge there, I'll add a 20 millimeter line and I'll say okay, that's good. I'll add another line across here. If I stretch over to this point here, I can then pull straight up and you'll see that blue dotted line helping me to align things. I can accept that line. That's great. I'll add another line here, snapping again into known geometry. Everything turns black. That's great. I can do a number of things here, but I think what I'll do is I'll just add a little circle. I will mouse over this line here until I get the midpoint, and I'll make that a 10 millimeter diameter circle. And now I've got some geometry that I can use. I, at this point, can now do another offset, and I can offset things like this. I can grab that line and pull that down as much as I want. I'm just going to pull that down by about 5. Let's see how that is. And I'll type that in, 5. And as I mouse over my geometry, I can see that I can select sketch profiles, and I've got things that I can remove. That's great. At this point, I'm almost done. I think I need to add another circle in here just so I've got a big wall hook there. So I'll add that out to about 20. I'll just make that 20. And everything's black. And once I've got that black geometry and I can select the individual sketch profiles, it makes it easy for me to extrude. So I'm not going to go and delete lines and make it perfect. I'm just looking for the extrudable sketch profiles. So I'll say, finish sketch. And then I'll turn on my retaining ring sketch. And at this point, I can now extrude and add that. I'm going to join this to the retaining ring. So I'll hit the extrude command. And as always, extrude's going to want to know, well, what am I supposed to extrude? So in this case, I'm going to need that part and this part. And I'll need probably this and this and this and this. And if I extrude this, and then I say down here in the operation that I want it to join, it's going to join onto this geometry here, or this 3D object here, which is the retaining ring. And as long as I pull that down by about 5 millimeters, or the thickness of the part, it'll be fine. Now I could do this a couple of ways. I could say that the extent is distance. In here, I could just type in thickness, and in which case, it's going to accept it as the thickness that I've set as a parameter. I'll undo that, and I'm going to redo the extrude and show you another way. So again, I've hit extrude, and it wants to know what to extrude, so I select all the different sketch profiles that I want. And now, under the extent, in the extrude dialog, under extent, I'm going to say to object. And when you do that, it's going to ask you to select an object, and that's asking, well, extrude as far as this thing. So I'm going to select this face. Then it will be okay. It's going to always line up with the exact thickness of that retaining ring. And under operation, as always, I say join, and there we go. I'll turn off my retaining ring sketch because it's looking a little confusing there. But there you go. I've added a very rudimentary way to hang our clock from the wall. I could always go back and edit my extrusion. If I say edit feature, I can deselect certain parts. Maybe I want that part not to be included, or I don't want that part or that part. Like, you can always change the extrude. I'm going to cancel it, but just know that you can always go back and change your extrudes by editing the feature on the timeline. There we go. So that's a really, really basic way to add a ring, sorry, I beg your pardon, a wall hook to your retaining ring, and that should allow you to hang your clock from the wall. In a future video, we'll take a look at how you can make more than one copy of that retaining ring so that you can see what it'll look like if you've made a bunch of them and then glued them together to make them thick. So there we go. That is our add a wall hook tutorial.